tripping. Tripping with Theo Bold.
Come on, Dre.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Tripping with Theo Bold. I'm your host, Andre Theo Bold. Welcome to the show. Glad y'all could tune in. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media, so make sure you follow me. Boom, let's go ahead and get right on into it, man. So as y'all can see, I'm wearing my Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter hat. I'm not an Alice in Wonderland fan, you know what I'm saying? But I own a lot of hats, man. I probably own too many hats. You know what I'm saying? I own a ridiculous number of hats. Like, if you go on my channel, if you go like long back to when I first started my YouTube or my podcast, I did an episode called the Mad Hatter Edition. And since then, my hat collection has probably doubled, if not tripled by then, you know? I wear a lot of hats, man, you know? Like, at the end of the day, look, everyone has their thing, right? Like females like purses and shoes, you know what I'm saying? Dudes with hairlines like going to the barber to get their hairline lined up, you know what I'm saying? My thing has been hats and shoes. Like, here's the thing, I have a lot of shoes too. But I haven't bought any shoes in a while. But I mean, I have a pretty extensive shoe collection. And I stopped buying shoes, man, because I stopped buying shoes because it's like weird. It's like I wear them like on very special occasions. And it's like every time I get a pair of shoes, man, or a new pair, every time I wear my new shoes or my nice kicks out, it's like danger seems to always want to find my shoes, you know? It's like kind of like when you first get a new car, right? It's like as soon as you drive it off the lot or whatever, it's like people seem to start opening their doors a lot more recklessly around your car, you know? Or you'll see shopping carts start to, hit random cars, you know? So it's kind of that same effect, you know what I'm saying? But now I have a large number of hats. Like, hats is like my thing. You know, I got everything from dad hats to snapbacks to fitteds to trappers. You name it, I got it. You know what I'm saying? And like here's the thing, right? Like my hat collection, man. Here's how serious my hat collection is, right? Like, I have FedEx on speed email, because FedEx, because New Era, they don't know the difference between 1/8, 3/8, and a half. Like their hat size is all like their fitted hat size is always be changing, and sometimes their crown, they like the way the hat looks on the site isn't the way it looks like when you get it. It's almost like getting it's almost like when you get them TV dinners, from the grocery store. Like, the TV dinners look good on the cover, but when you heat that shit up, man, it don't look like that. You know what I'm saying? So I used to be one of them dudes where, man, I would get a hat, and if I didn't like it, I would hold on to it, and I would convince myself, man, I can go ahead and go online and I'll sell it one day. I'll go on eBay and sell it one day, and that day never comes, and then I have like $40 that I just threw away. So I keep like FedEx on speed email, because if New Era or whoever gives me a hat and I'll put it on, if I put it on, if I don't like how it fit, if I don't like how it looked, I'll package that thing right back up and I'm shipping it right back out. Like, I don't play that no more, man. But yeah, but like, like I said, my mom, like, her thing was like purses, man. She has like a Amish shed full of purses, just like crates and crates of purses she had back in the 60s and the 70s and all that. Like, my dad's thing was ties. You know what I'm saying? Like, he always had his little Looney Tunes ties that he would wear to work. And them joints would be Them joints would have coffee stains all on them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes even the tie would like be like half covered in coffee, man, because his whole tie would just fall into coffee. You know what I'm saying? So, but me, like I said, it's shoes, hats, Apple Watch bands. I'm kind of, getting into my Apple Watch band collection. I know I found a place where I can get a good deal, right? Like these are Apple band ish or Apple ish bands, applesauce bands, if you want to call them that. You know what I'm saying? But no, like I said earlier, man, some people, like I said, they when it comes to like me, here's the thing, right? I wear hats because it's just something I started like when I was young. You know what I'm saying? Um, Even when I had a hairline, right? Oh, I don't believe I told y'all that, but yeah, my hairline is gone. But I'm not. Here's the thing, right? I'm not hiding my hairline. It's like I like to have variety. You know what I'm saying? Because if I shave my head and walk around with a shaved, bald head, all the time, I'm gonna look the same all the time. You know, like but people that got hair, they can braid their hair, they can get locks, they can cut their hair, they can have all types of different like there's different looks they can wear, right? So to me, I like having hats because it gives me like variety. And then when I do want to show the milk dud, boom, it's a surprise. You know what I'm saying? Um, but uh but yeah, man, every I have like a lot of hats, man. It's just like I said, it's insane. Um, but yeah, like I said, I got this hat. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the Mad Hatter. I'm not a fan of Alice in Wonderland. It's just I got mad hats, and this is a symbol of me having like a lot of hats. Um, so back when I was in middle school, man. Like I said, this episode is about my dad. Uh, about my dad trading away one of my hats. You know what I'm saying? But back when I was in middle school, man, I had maybe like 3 to 4 hats that like I liked, like 3 to 4 hats, and then of course I had like my favorite hat. Um, Nose was itching. Sorry. No, but then I had like um, I had like my favorite hat, and I had like I said, I had about 4 to 5 hats. 4 to 5 hats, not 45 hats. You know. But I think it was either Lids or Champs, but they had this thing you could get, and it was like a hat rope, and they had these hooks on this rope, and they probably gave you like anywhere from like 10 to like 12 clips, and you could clip your hat onto the rack, and you could like hang it up on the door or whatever, right? So it looked stylish, it looked cool, but it was like it's not the best way to keep track of it's not the best way to keep hats because a lot of dust falls, over time, and with the different textures and moistures and the dust and all that falls on the hat, it's gonna make the hat, you know, look um crummy. So like I said, I didn't say it, but I have like a hat case. I have like a case. It's weird. It's like you how some people have like shoe cases. Well, I had the same thing, right? It's a hat case. It's like a 4 by 4 or 5 by 5 where like 20 hats go into each one. And then I have like boxes that I have hats in, right? And like, it's like a little door that you pull down. And all my hats, I can just kind of go in and put one in, put one out. No dust gets on them, none of that, right? But anyways, back in my day, I started with like 3 to 5 hats. And my New York Yankee, because I had a New York Yankees hat back when I was in middle school, right? Like I was the thing, right? When I was young, um, I grew up in the Maryland, DC area. We didn't have a baseball team. And Yeah, we didn't have a baseball team. So like I watched whatever team was on TV, right? So of course I watched the Braves on TBS, then when Barry Bonds was, hitting, Barry Bond, like, ESPN was like would like show damn near every Giants game, and then of course the Yankees were balling back during that time period, like the days of Bernie Williams and Derek Jeter and all them. So anyways, like the New York Yankee hat was just a cool hat, back then. Like now I got my own team. I got my own shit. I'm good, right? But back then, like the New York Yankees hat was a dope hat because it it went with everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that dark navy and white. You could wear it with anything. You can match it with anything. Um, and it's crazy, man, because like fitted hats. The crazy thing about fitted hats, man, is even back when I was in middle school, man, fitted baseball hats were going for like $40, like 39.99, and to this day they're still going for 39.99 at the minimum, right? Um, so anyways, man, like I said, I like wearing my yeah, it was like my favorite hat. Like I wouldn't wear it all the time. Like I would only wear it if I got like a little, like if I was going out to the mall or something like that, and I had like a little outfit. Yeah, I would throw my Yankees fitted on, Um, but it wasn't a hat that I wore every day, right? It was a hat that like it was kind of a special occasion kind of hat, you know. So I wore it less than all the time, if that makes sense. But I remember one night in particular, man, my dad, man, he was going to this event, right? Like my dad was a doctor, he was a physician. Um, and he was going to this doctor's event where he had to he had to look look sporty, right? Because my dad always wore like either like suits or he wore dress pants, dress shirt, tie, blazer. Right, that's kind of how my dad dressed when he went out. But tonight was more of a casual. It was kind of more of a casual, laid back kind of event, but it was like amongst doctors or his fellow doctor friends or whatever. And he wanted a hat to go with what he was wearing because he was wearing a blazer, a polo, and some like khakis. Um, and he came in my room and he was like, G, he's like, G, uh, he's like, I'm going to this event, and um, um, I was wondering if I could borrow one of your hats. And the first place my mind went was that New York Yankees hat. I was like, okay. So I went over to my hat string or whatever, or my little hat rack that I had, and I skipped over the Yankees hat and went to like another hat I tried to give him. And he came over and was like, what about this one? And the way he pointed, 'cause my dad would point and his finger would be like extra straight. It would be like crooked. He'd be like, how about this one? I can't do it right. Wonder why I can't do it right here. He'd be like, how about this one? How about this one? Or he would point, right? And it was like real crooked. It was like, how about this one? Right? And that's how he would point. And I knew he wanted to like wear that hat, man. So it was weird because I was like, man, if I say no, like I don't want to get into an argument, you know what I'm saying? But I knew already, man, that but here's the thing, right? Like I knew already that, you know, if I let him borrow my hat, you know, it's not gonna come back the same way it left out, you know? Like it's not gonna come back the same. It's either gonna be like extra, like it's gonna be a crease in the hat. And that's what I'm saying. Like I'm real funny about my hats, man. If there's a crease in my hat, like if it's a fitted or a snapback, and if it's a crease in my hat, or if there's a stain in it, man, I'll throw that joint in the trash, yo. Like I'm not even gonna try to wear that shit. Like I'm very, very protective about my hats, man. Like my hats are like my crowns, you know. Anyways, uh, so I knew when I let my dad use this Yankees hat that it was gonna come back. It was gonna come back in some way, shape, or form. It was gonna come back tainted, right? It was either gonna be a coffee stain on the white portion of the New York Yankees logo, or it's gonna be some hot sauce splatter on the back of the MLB logo on the back of the hat, or it's gonna be something, man. So I was like, all right. So I let him take it or whatever, and he put it on his head, and you know, he was like, I look cool now, don't I? I look cool now, don't I? Oh, I look. And he kept looking in the mirror. Man, I like this hat. Man, I like it. I like it. And I'm like, man, don't like it too much, man, cause I'm gonna need that back, you know? But but nah, but like lending anything nice to my dad was all, like I said, it was already a risky proposition because like my dad grew up poor in the Caribbean, you know what I'm saying? And clothes were functional to him, you know what I'm saying? Like there was no everything, like he wasn't picky about clothes. It was like if it was there, he was gonna wear it. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't really like separate like nice clothes. Like he couldn't get the concept of, hey, you got nice clothes that you only wear for certain events or you do certain things here. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't picky. Like he would wear everything, but he just didn't like it didn't register like where to like wear things at, right? Like for example, if you got him like a nice shirt, like a nice shirt, even if it was expensive or if it was a shirt where it was like, hey, look, now you wear this to when you step out, man, you probably see that nigga outside cutting grass and that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got him a new pair of like Jordans, he would be outside like building a shed or weed whacking, trying to like, get the yard straightened up in a pair of brand new Jordans, right? So it was like all clothes, like clothes to him were just clothes. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it's like he wasn't doing it like intentionally. He just didn't like know better. It was like, nah, I'm just if it's here, I'm aware. You know what I'm saying? And that's why like I was like nervous as hell about letting him use my Yankees hat because I knew that he just didn't get the value of like he knew it looked nice when he would wear it out, but it's like it was just a hat to him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, it wasn't a styling piece that he would look forward to wearing again. Like I'm saying, like you have to like my thing is this, right? I have a lot of shoes and like a lot of hats, like I said a million times already, But part of the reason why I have a lot of hats and a lot of shoes is because I've learned that when you wear something over and over and over and over again, it's gonna get worn, right? And then when you can't wear it anymore or it's not as stylish, now you gotta either like wear it to like work out in or something else, and then you gotta look and buy a whole nother pair of shoes, right? And then to me, it's like when you buy things when you need them, that's when you're not really gonna be able to find them, right? So that's kind of like my whole thing when it comes to hats and shoes and shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, um, I let my dad borrow this hat, and my dad, he worked in the prisons, or he worked for this one prison where he was a physician in the prison, and he would like do it for like overnight gigs or whatever, right? Right. Uh, so it wasn't like it was common for me like not to see my dad like one or two nights in the week because he was um working the prison or making rounds, you know. But anyways, I didn't see my dad the next day. Then I saw him the following day when I'm doing homework, and I'm back at my desk doing my homework. My dad came back, you know, um, and he had this hat on right here. Now it didn't look like this, right? So remember I told you how my dad be wearing the shit out of hats? Like he just wears it. Like this is like how my dad to my dad would still wear this hat with a suit to this day if he were alive. If he had on a nice suit and wanted to go look sporty, he would still find a way to wear this hat. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, my dad came back with this hat. Pop came back with this hat, man. And like he came into my room and was like, and he was so excited. He was like, G, how you like my hat? Huh? How you like my hat? And I was like, yeah, it's a nice hat, Dad, And he was like, see what it says? It says the Buffalo Bills experience. And that's how he would always say. When he wore the hat, he'd be like, it says the Buffalo Bills experience. Buffalo Bills experience. How you like my hat? Right? So I'm like, it's a dope hat, Dad. Okay. All right, where's mine? And then when I said that, my dad was like, yeah. So in order for me to get this hat, he said, in order for me to get this hat, I had to I had to trade your hat. I'm like, you had to trade. So I said, what? I was like, but I thought you said you were gonna bring it back. Yeah. I know. But I really had to get this hat, so I had to give him your hat. So I was like, all right, so how am I gonna get my hat back, or how am I gonna get another hat? You know? And this nigga reached into his pocket, and this nigga pulled out a crumpled up $5 bill and handed it. He handed me a crumpled up $5 bill, and I was like, nigga, this hat don't cost no $5, man. This is a $40 hat. He said, $40, $40 fucking. I don't know how to do it. Like West Indians can like smack their teeth, and my dad smacked his teeth and was like, he's like, you're not getting that from me. So then I turned into full snitch, man. I went full snitch mode. And I went to my mom. I was like, mama. And to this day, my mom can't, like, she doesn't remember this story, but to this day, my mom don't remember this shit. But I was like, mama. I was like, I let dad use my hat, my New York Yankees hat you bought me, and he went to the thing and said he'd bring it back, and he came back with this hat and traded it, and he only gave me $5 to get another hat. My mom looked at my dad and was like, John Deere, no, that hat is more than $5. It's a $40 hat. And then my dad kind of like walked off mad. But then like a few days later, maybe a week or so later, I was in the mall, and I forgot how I got another New York Yankees hat, but I got another New York Yankees hat, right? So like to this day, like because of that situation or that trauma, man, I'm very, very apprehensive in letting people borrow my shit, man. You know, like if it comes to like my hats or like my shoes, look, right, I rather just go ahead and give you most of the money so you can go buy your own shit. That's how I am, right? Like, or if it's too expensive, if it's too expensive, I'd rather just give you hat. Well, if it's shoes, nah, fuck that. I'm not giving you all that bread for no shoes, man. That's like now, you're not wearing my kicks. Kicks are out of the question. But a hat, man, like if a hat, man, yo, like I'd rather just give you half of the money so you can go buy your own hat. That's how I am, because if my shit come back with like a type of smell, or if it smells different, or if it's a crease in it, or if the hat fits tight and I can't wear it the way I want to wear it, I'm just not gonna wear it. And now it's like I got to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not because I don't like other people like wearing my stuff. It's just when I wear it, I like it to fit the way I had it fit me before I let someone else use it. You know what I'm saying? Like long story short, like not to be gross, but I don't like no one messing up my fit. Like once I fit, that's it. Yeah, once my shit fit, nigga, that don't mess up my fit. All right. But anyways, but man, when my dad had that hat on, when he was wearing that hat, man, I hated this hat, man. I hated this hat when he first, for like maybe like the first day or so, man. I hated this hat, man. Cause man, my dad would just come around, cause it was one, I went through that whole situation, but then two, it was like he would all like he would act like I didn't know what the hat meant, or he would act like I never saw the hat. Like he would act like I forgot that he had this hat. He'd be like, Jay, what does this say? The Buffalo Bills experience. I'm like, yeah, Dad, you told me that last night. 2 weeks go by. Hey, Jay, what does my hat say? The Buffalo Bills experience. I'm like, Dad, man, it's been a month, nigga. I mean, I wouldn't say that because I'm not trying to get slapped up, but nigga, like every time, like he would act like, and whenever he got around his friends or somebody new, if they ask him, hey, man, you a Bills fan? Not only am I a Bills fan, but I've went through the Buffalo Bills experience. Like he felt like this hat, like, gave him like like he felt like this hat was like some sort of like award for being the biggest Bills fan ever, right? Like, Like, it didn't matter who it is, man. Like if they talk football, he would find a way to put in the Buffalo Bills experience. And I used to hate that fucking. He used to always act like he would act like no one, like he would act like he just got the hat, man, for like years. You know what I'm saying? Um, but anyways, man. So like my dad, like I said, he wore this hat like not he wore this hat a lot. As you can tell, he wore this hat. He wore the shit out this hat. As you can tell, he wore the shit out this hat, man. He wore this hat to cut grass. He wore this hat. He probably wore this hat while he was reprimanding me for like getting a bad grade on the test, or while he was trying to show me how to do math, how they did it back in the British West Indies system. I probably, you know what? I probably got slapped up in this hat, you know? Like this hat, man, like it was like his uniform, man. Like you would not see, like my dad had, like, of course he had a New York Mets hat, and he had a couple other Bills hats, but man, this hat, he wore this hat like nonstop, yo. I wouldn't even be surprised if he wore this hat in his sleep, yo. And of course, like back then, the hat had more shape. Like the hat had like the crown was like way better than this. Like it looked like a hat. This thing, he just would he'd put the hat on and just pull it down. Like man, he put that hat on like it was a condom, nigga. He put that joint on snug. Like nah, man, you can't put on a hat like that, man. You gotta like man, you gotta treat your hat gentle. You know what I'm saying? Um, But nah, he wore this hat everywhere, man. The Bills games, the Bills backers events, man. Cause we were part of the Bills backers club and all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it just became a hat that you would like if he didn't wear this hat, it would look weird. That's how much he wore this hat, man. Anyways, um, I would say like 80 to 90% of like me and my dad's conversation was about the damn Buffalo Bills, man. It was about them. It's about them damn Bills, man. Like every day, like my dad would say Buffalo Bills probably like 10 times at least. And then he probably said Michael Jordan probably 3, 4 times a day. Then Thurman Thomas in medical school. Like actually, Buffalo Bills and medical school were the words that, like the 4 words that he said the most were Buffalo Bills. Excuse me. Like the 4 words my dad said would be Buffalo Bills, Michael Jordan, Thurman Thomas, and medical school. Man, he said them words like nonstop, yo. But the Buffalo Bills, man, was you know, um, yeah. Um, but my parents, man, like they had like they Buffalo Bills roots already. Like you know what I'm saying. Like my dad went to medical school at UB. My mom went to nursing school at UB. That's how they met. Um, Mom's really from Niagara Falls, but then she went to UB, you know, and then my grandma moved from Niagara Falls to Buffalo later. This is all before I was born, you know. And then they were like fans from way back in the day, man. Like they were fans, man. Shit, they were like fans back in the days of OJ. Like matter of fact, I think they even like saw OJ around town. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I really here's the thing, right? I really became a Bills fan, um, like right at Super Bowl 25. You know what I'm saying? Because Super Bowl 25, I was 9 years old. um, and and I had a choice, right? My dad, I remember he dropped me off at my sitter's house, right? And we called my sitter back then Nanny, you know. And he was like, "Yo, G," he's like, "G, today is a very important day." Like I got a whole speech about this. He's like, "G," he said, "Today is a very important day." He said, "The Buffalo Bills are playing for the Super Bowl. So If you want, you can stay at nanny, or you can come home and watch the game. But if you come home and you're watching the game, you're watching the game. So I was like, and the way he said it, I was like, man, I got to see what this is about, you know. So I was over at nanny house, and then my dad was like, okay, when I drop you off, I'm gonna come and I'm gonna honk the horn twice. If you are not outside, you are sleeping over at nanny. So I was like, all right, shoot, okay. So my dad dropped me off, and then me and E, like we're upstairs in his room playing Madden 1. And that's some shit. We were playing the first Madden. Um and what was it? Yeah, it was weird because like to me that game was always weird. Like to me, Madden was always weird because um like Madden, here's the right. Madden was always weird to me because or Madden 1 was weird because they had the New Jersey Jets. And to me that was it was a it just the name sounded weird. Not saying that New Jersey can't have a football team, but it just I don't know what it was. And for some reason, I always played with the New Jersey Jets in Madden 1. So I don't know why I brought that up. That was hella random. But anyways, now me and E are playing Madden, and his TV was like his TV was basically like by the window that would look out to the road that the traffic would come up to like turn onto. So I saw this red Peugeot, which is like my mom's first car, one of my mom's first cars. I saw this red Peugeot pull up, and it was speeding, and it sped back, and I was like, I literally threw the controller down. I was like, I gotta go, and I ran downstairs, and as I'm running down E's house downstairs, I'm hearing the horn. I'm hearing the car horn, toot toot. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta hurry up and make it so I don't get left. So I run outside, and my dad like made a U-turn, and he was about to peel back out, right? So I literally jump into the car, and then we go back home. And when we go home, it's like all these people here at the house, man, for the Super Bowl party, right? And this is like my first time like watching football, and I'm around all these like strangers in the house, man. And when I walk in the house, man, I smell all these chicken wings, man. My mom's cooking wings and her sesame noodles, and all these people are in the basement, like family friends, like like people that are like my mom's and dad's age. And I'm like, man, this is weird. I'm like, yo, my birthday was just last week. Like, is it another party? Like, what's all this partying about? And it's on a Sunday night, and I got to go to school the next day. I'm like, what the hell is this about? Anyways, as I walked in, a few minutes later, that's when Whitney Houston sang the national anthem. That's the one when she put her foot in that anthem, And I remember that shit like it was yesterday, man. It's like we're all kind of like huddled around the TV, not huddled, but we're like in the basement. And when she started singing, man, it's like the world just stopped, and we're sitting there just watching the TV. Like we knew we were watching something special at that moment. It was like we knew we were watching something that was gonna be timeless. You know what I'm saying? And that's why to this day when I watch when I see like the video of Whitney Houston singing the national anthem, I get emotional because it's like that's when like I became a football fan. You know what I'm saying? That's when I really started watching football. And it's like I remember exactly where I was, and it was like a moment of like it was weird. It's just real eerie, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I hear it, it's like I just remember like being taken back to a kid, you know what I'm saying? Um then but nah, man, but me and these Bills, man. So anyways, long story, I don't know why I'm telling you how I became a Bills fan, but I am, so just deal with it. So anyways, when the game started, you know, we have we got like friends and family. It's mainly like friends or whatever and stuff. And they're asking me like like I'm young, I'm 9 years old. They're like, "Hey, Andre, who's your favorite team?" And my dad just jumped in and cut them off, man. My dad said, "Look," he said, "anyone who eats and sleeps in this house is a Buffalo Bills fan. If not, they can go sleep in the streets." And I was like, "Go Bills." And that's how I became a Bills fan, man. I got jumped into that shit, you know? Um, so then man, just after the Super Bowl, man, that's the one where Scott Norwood missed that kick. And I never saw my dad like this animated, man. My dad was just talking shit. Man, he had, look, you know what's funny? He had no Buffalo Bills apparel on. He was just talking shit. Like I think he had on khakis and maybe like a short sleeve dress shirt. You know what I'm saying? Um, and my dad, man, he looked just like a foreigner. But no, my pop, man, he was talking all this shit about the Bills, man. Just talking shit to their friends, like, you know, he's like, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, you know, and then like, you know, throughout the game, my dad's giving me high five, we're gonna do it, Jay, we're gonna do it. And I'm like, yeah, all right, nigga, yeah, this was fun, you know? And man, I remember like right on the final drive where when the Bills were marching to kick the field goal, right? And then my dad was talking all this shit. Then of course I think they went to commercial break. Then my dad was, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Commercial break, my dad chilling, talking or whatever. Then the game come back on. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And then the ball gets kicked. And all you hear is, oh no. Oh no. He missed the fucking kick. He missed the fucking kick. Oh no. Oh no. It's all you heard for like a month later. Oh no. He missed the fucking kick. Yeah, I remember my dad tucked me in the bed that night because I had a bunk bed and shit, right? Like I was the only child and I had a bunk bed, you know, which is weird. But like if I didn't feel like making one bed, I would just go sleep in the other one. You know what I'm saying? But I always slept on the top bunk. But I remember I would my dad tucked me in the bed. Actually no, I didn't make up my top bunk that night, but the bottom bunk was made up. So I slept on the bottom bunk and my dad tucked me in and he just sat he sat in my chair and was like, he's like, gee, he missed the fucking kick. He missed the fucking, like he just kept saying that. That shit was the craziest thing. And then man, after that, man, the next year, man, I was just into the Bills, man. I mean, that from that game, I was into the Bills like Super Bowl 25. But then after that, man, every year was the same, man. Like we had like, yeah, I think this was like this is like pre-internet, you know, no social media. And it's like, if we find anything with Buffalo Bills on it, it's like a big deal, right? So if you go to a gas station, if it's a picture of Thurman Thomas on a magazine, it's like, boom, we just start talking about the Buffalo Bills, man. You know? And every offseason it was the same. It was like, gee, this is all year. This is gonna be us. This is it. You know, every year started that way, you know, and every year ended in disappointment, you know. But man, we used to, man, like I said, like, man, it's weird, but looking back, man, like the Buffalo Bills, man, are like tied to like my childhood and they're tied to like my family memories, man. Like they play, it's crazy how much of a role the Buffalo Bills played like in my life, even to this day, you know. Like I remember before DirecTV, man, we used to I remember before DirecTV, we used to you know, since we lived in the Maryland DC area, you know, what would happen is we would see like, you know, the Bills warming up, but then right when the Bills got ready to kick off, or right when they got ready to kick off, they would switch the feed to the Redskins game. And we'd be like, oh fuck, man. And we'd be mad as shit. And then we'd have to go out. And then we basically would go outside and do chores. But we would basically watch the Redskin games for Buffalo Bills highlights. You know, like every time we get that chime and they would like give you the highlight, that was like how in tune we were with the Bills, man. Then we found a Buffalo Bills backers club. Then we used to be at the Green Turtle, you know, over there in Laurel in the back watching Bills games. Man, I still got the Bills backers club certificates with the buffalo hot sauce stains on them, you know. My dad would always have food on his fingers and he always would handle stuff and whatever. But anyways, now we used to, man, then we went to Greavy's, then we went to California Inn, and then my dad finally bought DirecTV, and the dish is still on top of the house. Yeah, my mom is pissed because the dish is still on top of the house. But we cut the cable from the joint, but the dish is still up there, you know. Um, but man, that's how like locked in we were with the Buffalo Bills, man. And then me and my mom and dad, we used to watch the games in the basement when the Bills were like winning. But then I guess when the Bills started losing, like my mom gave up on them, so she went upstairs and she watched some other games. And then me and my dad would, man, we would stay, like, no matter how bad the Bills were, man, we would stay and watch every game in the basement, man. Like, no matter how shitty they were, if it was almost like it's almost like the Bills were so bad. Like, we watched the Bills when they were so bad that if they did one good thing in the game, it was a big deal. Like, if they scored a touchdown, it was a big fucking deal, you know? Um, and I remember when I was also younger, uh, um, like I used to hustle to get out of church to watch the games with my folks in the basement, you know? I remember I'd be at church and I don't know what it was, man, but Miss Gaskins during football season, man, she always caught the Holy Ghost like 3 times, man. And whenever she caught the Holy Ghost, you know, they would have to restart that part of service. So she would extend service, you know, like they'd be doing the benediction or whatever, or whatever it's called. They'd be doing the benediction or whatever the closeout part of church is. And we all be holding hands, and then we be praying or singing or whatever. And all you hear is Miss Gaskins in the back. Oh, thank you, Lord. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And she would like pass out. And then they would get the smelling salts and wake up Miss Gaskins. And they had to restart that joint again, man. I'm looking at the clock like, yo. I'm like, come on, Miss Gaskins. Come on. I'd be like, come on, Miss Gaskins. You got to get it together, man. I'm like, yo, you got to get it together, man, because the Bills are on right now. I'm like, you and the Lord need to work this out later because I got to get home to watch these Bills. And man, it was stressful, man. I'm looking at the clock like, yo, I'm trying to catch like the end of the first. I'm trying to catch the end of the first quarter. And this is me when I'm like 9. This is me when I'm like 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? 12 years old and up. And Miss Gaskins, like I said, man, she'd be extending service. You know what I'm saying? Hold on a second. Make sure my mic and stuff is still on. Yeah, man. But now, yo, like, Miss Gaskins, man, she would man, she would always catch the Holy Ghost at the end of the service, right? But anyways, yeah, enough of that, man. So, anyways, so like it's weird, man, but the Buffalo Bills just became like the language between me and my pop. It was like everything was around the Buffalo Bills, you know? Um so so certain clothes or objects become attached to um somebody, you know what I'm saying? So certain clothes or objects, you know, become attached to uh people in a way to where you don't even like see the object anymore, right? You just see them, you know what I'm saying? And that's because, you know, my dad wore this hat through so many parts of life. Like he wore it, like I remember he wore this hat during like graduation at some point, you know what I'm saying? Or multiple graduations. I saw this hat in like videos and like I said, when I used to get slap up or used to get disciplined, he probably had that hat on. So it's like or if I was getting like yelled at or whatever, or if we had like or if we had a big laugh or we saw something funny, man, like this hat, it was like I would see my dad like um uh in this hat, you know what I'm saying? And it's like weird. It's like he wore it so much. It's like I forgot he even wore it. It became like an extent. It's almost like somebody having an afro, right? Um like that's a bad example. Um, I don't even know what example to use, but it's like he wore the hat so much that I forgot that he wore it. Right, is where I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? Like he wore it at Bills backers events, arguments. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like like if I could replay my childhood or replay my life, um, that hat probably was like present for like a lot of shit, you know? Like that hat probably this like the front of this hat probably saw me get slapped up, you know? Oh man. So yeah, so it's like when you see the hat, you think it's like this. It's like Super Mario, right? Like if you saw Super Mario not wearing a Super Mario hat, you'd be like, "Nigga, that's not Mario, nigga." Like you know what I'm saying? But same with like my dad, right? Like if you didn't see my dad wearing his hat, it's like that's not Pop. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird. It became like an extension of him. Um. So uh, years passed by, right? And like my dad passed away in 2021. Um, and like my mom and dad didn't end on good terms, like like my like when I go home, it's weird because when I went home, it's like a lot of the evidence and the pictures of my dad been taken down off the wall. So it's like, oh man, dad not here no, like you know what I'm saying. So it's like when I first saw that, it was kind of weird. Um, but then but when I go home to visit my mom, I always like, what I'm saying, she'll have me like run stuff to AmVet or to Goodwill or to help her like get rid of stuff. And man, I remember this was probably like 2 years ago, maybe I think. But every time I come home, she has a bag of stuff, like in the middle of the hallway in the basement or downstairs. And she's like, "Hey, just take this bag or run it to AmVet, or hey, if they're not gonna take it at AmVet, see if you can throw it in the trash or whatever, or just I need it out my house. Just get it out my house, right? That's how my mom is, right? So there's a bag of my dad's stuff, and the bag was luckily open, and this hat was sitting on top of the inside of the bag, man. It was like weird. When she told me to take this bag to AmVet and I saw this hat popping out the bag, first thing I thought was, I was like, why is dad popping out the bag? Why is he popping out the trash? It was like my dad was peeping through the trash bag looking. When I saw this hat, I was like, what? And my heart like dropped. And I was like, oh nah. I'm like, man, I gotta keep this hat, man. Cause this hat, man, I done been through a lot with this hat, man. I remember when I first saw this hat, man, I hated this fucking hat, man. But I was like, man, nah, this is like, nah, this is it, yo. So I remember I grabbed it and I threw that thing right in my suitcase, man. And to this day, I still have it. You know what I'm saying? I had a picture. Let me see if I can pull it up right quick. Let me see if I can pull this up right quick, man. Cause I was having technical difficulties with just give me a second, because I can't connect my phone to show something, but let me go ahead and see if I thought I have it here. That should be in downloads, maybe. Yeah, here it is. Let me see if I can do this and see what happens. Oh, see what happens if I do this. There it is. Boom. Okay. Yeah. So this is me and my dad at a Bills game right here. I think this was a game against the Jets. And you see that fucking hat? You see that hat? That hat is right here. My dad wore the hell out that hat, man. Matter of fact, this was the game. Yeah, I remember this game. I remember all the games, but I can tell by the shirt that my dad is wearing. It's where the tight end, I think it was Everett. I forgot the guy's first name, but he was a tight end from the University of Miami, and it was the game. I think he was playing against the Broncos that game, and he had the tight end like got hit weird, or he made a weird block or something, and then he was like paralyzed temporarily on the field. And then that was like his season ending injury, right? And then they had to cart him off the field. It was a very scary moment. But that happened earlier in the season, or that happened the year before, I think. And he just wore the shirt again this year. But you see the hat? So there it is. You know what I'm saying? My dad he wore the shit out that hat. But what else, man? Where was I going with this? Um, but nah, but when I got the hat, man, I got it, man, and it's weird, um, like I won't wear this hat because number one, it's like look how crusty this is, man. Look how man he done cut grass in this shit. He done like weed whacked and went to the gym in this hat. He done did all kind of shit in this hat, man. So yeah, this hat does not fit my standards of wearing. Like, you know, my hats have to fit a certain way. But I haven't worn it. And matter of fact, I never even put this hat on my head. Right. It's just crazy. It's like I haven't put it like and I can't because it's weird, you know. Um, and I probably never will. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not my hat. You know what I'm saying? Um, but uh but here's something that's crazy, right? Like if we had to play watch save burn with all my hats, right? Because like I said, I have too many hats, right? But if we had to play watch save burn with my hats, right? Um like it's weird, but and if you don't know what watch save burn is, basically it's like it's a game we play on Random Fandom. By the way, shout out to Random Fandom. You know, I'm a panelist on that show. It's a Random Fandom with Jordan Conley, and we talk all kind of nerd stuff, all type of nerd fandom stuff. But one of the games we play is called Watch Save Burn, and basically we'll have like 3 movies up, and you have to say basically the imaginary situation is the house is burning down slow, or it's burning down slow enough to where you can watch one movie one last time, and then you can save one movie to actually take with you, but everything else burns, right? So if I had to play watch save burn with like my hats, if you had this hat and then all the other hats I have, yo, I'd have to burn all the other hats, man, which is weird because like all my other hats are like at minimum, all my hats like start off at like $40, right? They go 40 and up. I got hats that are more than 100. But and I even have some hats that are like collectors items where like you'll never be able to find them again. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a lot of Nationals. Like when the Nationals won the World Series in 2019, I got all the championship hats. You know what I'm saying? I got hats that you know they're not even gonna make again. You know, but it would hurt. It would hurt, but I would have to burn them hats to keep this hat, man, because no matter like what hat, um, because no matter if I found this exact same hat somewhere else, it's like my dad didn't wear it, right? And there's so much history behind this hat. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that I had a New York Yankees hat and I let my dad borrow it, thinking that he would bring it back with hopefully just some ketchup stain or some hot sauce stain on it or whatever. But then he came back with a whole new hat, and he thought he was gonna just give me $5 for my other hat. Like I said, there's too much history behind this hat for me to be like to let this go. So, yeah, this hat is weird. Like I don't know where to put it. Like, but I know when the season starts, and that's a reason why I did this episode is because the NFL season's about to start, and I've been meaning to do an episode on this. But man, this hat is gonna be out. But like I said, I'm not wearing it. You know, so like this hat like has like memories and it has like value because of like who owned it. You know what I'm saying? But my other hats, like I said, it would hurt because of the cost, and I probably wouldn't be able to find the same hats that I had before. but that's just long and skinny of it. What else? But yeah, man. But like I said, the value is he wore the shit out that hat, and he was like, that was the hat where that hat was the hat that probably meant the most to him. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I got hundreds of hats. This is by far the ugliest one. It's the most crustiest one. You know what I'm saying? I won't even put that shit on my head. But if I had to keep one, that's the one I'm gonna keep. So, damn, I gotta get better at doing this, man. Well, yeah. Tripping. That concludes today's episode of Tripping with Theo Bold. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media, so make sure you follow me. Yeah. Put it in the comments, man. Do you guys have a favorite hat, or do you guys have something that a relative or a friend or a loved one had that you just can't get rid of no matter what? Put it in the comment, put it in the chat, let me know. Not in the chat, because this is going to be up, but put it in the comments. You know, I don't know why it's getting complicated or whatever, but yeah, just put it in the comments, let me know so we can talk about it, man. Once again, AT is where it's at on most forms of social media, so follow me. And without further ado, I'm out of here, folks. Peace. Tripping with Theo Bold.